Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. And our recap. Sharon snaps as Cameron pushes her to seek revenge, and Billy tells Jack that Chelsea slept with Adam. Thursday, August 29, 2024. Today on Young and Restless, Billy opens up to Jack. Lily tells Devon that Billy has outsmarted her, and Daniel apologizes to Faith and her family. Wednesday's recap. Adam admitted sleeping with Chelsea was out of love, Kyle refused to fire Claire for Victor, and Tracy's moving home for good. This Day Ahead recap episode airs in the USA on August 29. Expect spoilers. Recaps go live by 4:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time daily. At the GHC, Nikki tells Victor she's too nervous about Faith to eat her breakfast. He assures her that they will see her soon. Another accident with underage drinking is becoming too familiar. He says they are lucky Adam and his kidney saved Faith last time. She thinks of Cassie. Nikki worries that all of this is too painful a reminder to Nick and Sharon. After he eats some more, he says he's sure that Faith will be fine. He wonders if alcohol being involved in this has upset his wife. She worries about the young people thinking drugs and alcohol can solve their problems. Victor is grateful his wife is so committed to her recovery but wonders if they should be worried about Sharon. Nikki wonders if memories of Cassie and running Cassidy first is only causing more pain. They start talking about Chancellor and he admits things are moving faster than he thought they would. He asks her to find out about the blow-up between Billy and Lily. They recall losing Catherine 11 years ago and how heartsick she would be over the chaos at her company. He urges her to find out all she can about Billy Boy so they can get rid of him. At the hospital, Faith tells her parents that she keeps replaying the crash in her head. Nick assures her she was just trying to help Lucy. It hurts a bit but she's okay, she just feels terrible she let this happen. You need to stop that because none of this is your fault, Sharon says aggressively. Faith is sure her mom is blaming herself, but she's in the world and anything can happen. Her mom knows she was trying to do the right thing. Sharon decides to get food for her daughter. Faith just wants bad TV, not food. Her mom is grateful she delayed her trip and snaps when Faith mentions wanting to see Lucy. Daniel joins them and explains that his daughter is having some tests run. Faith asks if something is wrong. He makes it clear there isn't. Sharon clearly isn't happy to see him and Cameron appears to her, taunting her. Daniel says that his daughter is responsible for this and has had a really tough time with boundaries. Faith feels bad about rejecting her for being too young to be her friend. Her mom snaps again and barks that she can't take the blame for any of this. Nick says they aren't blaming anyone for this. Cameron tells Sharon that's not true. He urges her to get Daniel out of there before she blows her top. Sharon tells Daniel her daughter needs to rest. As he walks away, Daniel tells Faith that he and Heather are very grateful to her. Once he's gone, Sharon orders her daughter to stop apologizing. Nick says they need to put this behind them. When she says it was nice of Daniel to stop by, Cameron starts ranting about how he put Cassie in the morgue. Nick urges Sharon to step out with him to give their daughter a break. As they go, Faith apologizes for scaring her mom. In the hall, Nick asks how hard this is hitting Sharon. He's sure this is all reminding her of what happened with Cassie. When he puts a hand of her shoulder, Cameron puts his hand on the other and orders her to focus. "You need to stop," she screams, leaping away. Nick is confused. He starts apologizing and she says she didn't mean to snap. She's just feeling guilty for encouraging Faith to check on Lucy. Nick repeats that no one is responsible and there was nothing wrong with urging Faith to be a good person. Cameron is appalled and taunts Sharon to ask Nick for a steamy kiss. Sharon declares she needs some rest. Nick thinks that's a great idea. She urges him to get some food at Crimson Lights, and he assures her they will bring their little girl home soon. Nick urges her not to let this take her to a dark place. She stares over at Cameron and then thanks Nick for being a rock. He admits he's more worried about her than Faith. Sharon claims she's fine and he walks off. Cameron tells her this is the time to focus on what's real, the pain and the rage she's burying by being dead inside. He growls that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree and she almost lost Faith thanks to Lucy. They both know who is to blame. In the heart of Genoa City, where secrets lurk behind every corner, The drama reached new heights as Sharon faced her past demons, and Billy delivered a bombshell that would shake the Abbott family to its core. Sharon Newman had always been a woman of strength and resilience, but the return of Cameron Kirsten had her teetering on the edge. Cameron was a ghost from her past, a shadow that had haunted her for years, and now he was back, more menacing than ever. He had slithered back into her life, taunting her, reminding her of every painful memory, and pushing her towards a path she had vowed never to take again. The tension between them had been building for days. Sharon had tried to keep her cool, tried to stay composed, but Cameron knew exactly which buttons to press. He knew her darkest secrets, her deepest fears, and he exploited them with a twisted smile on his face. "You can't hide from your past, Sharon," Cameron whispered, his voice like poison in her ears. "You can pretend to be this perfect woman, this loving mother and friend, but we both know the truth. You're still that scared little girl, running from the consequences of your actions." Sharon's hands trembled as she clenched them into fists, her nails digging into her palms. She could feel the anger rising within her, the rage that Cameron had always been so good at stirring, but she refused to let him see her break. "Not this time." "I've moved on, Cameron," Sharon shot back, her voice shaking slightly despite her best efforts to keep it steady. "I've built a life for myself, a life that you have no place in. You can't control me anymore." Cameron chuckled darkly, stepping closer until he was mere inches from her. "That's where you're wrong, Sharon. I still have power over you and I always will. But you know what? I'm not here to destroy you. I'm here to help you." Sharon blinked in disbelief. "Help me? You think I need help from you?" "Yes," Cameron said, his eyes gleaming with a sinister light. "Help to finally get the revenge you deserve. Think about it, Sharon. All those people who have wronged you, who have betrayed you, who have taken advantage of your kindness, they need to pay, and I can help you make that happen." Sharon's heart raced as she stared at Cameron, his words echoing in her mind. For a moment, just a fleeting moment, she considered it. The idea of taking revenge on those who had hurt her was tempting, almost intoxicating, but then she remembered who she was, who she had fought so hard to become. "I won't be like you, Cameron," Sharon said firmly, taking a step back. "I won't let you drag me down to your level. I've made mistakes in the past, but I've learned from them. I've become stronger, better, and I won't let you take that away from me." Cameron's smile faded, replaced by a cold, hard stare. "You're making a mistake, Sharon. You think you're strong, but you're still weak. And when the time comes, when you're alone and broken, you'll realize that you should have taken my offer." With that, Cameron turned and walked away, leaving Sharon standing there, her body trembling with the effort of holding herself together. She took a deep breath, trying to calm the storm raging inside her. She had stood her ground, but at what cost? The anger, the hurt, it was all still there, bubbling beneath the surface. Meanwhile, across town at the Abbott mansion, Billy was pacing back and forth, his mind racing with the information he had just received. He knew he had to tell Jack, but he also knew that it would blow up their lives in ways they couldn't even imagine. Chelsea had been a complicated part of Billy's life for years. They had shared a deep connection, one that had been tested time and time again. But this was something he hadn't seen coming. The revelation that Chelsea had slept with Adam, of all people, was a betrayal that cut deep. It wasn't just about the act itself, but the lies and deceit that had accompanied it. Billy finally stopped pacing and took a deep breath before heading to Jack's office. He found his brother sitting at his desk, looking over some documents, completely unaware of the storm that was about to hit him. "Jack, we need to talk," Billy said, his voice tense. Jack looked up, sensing the seriousness in Billy's tone. "What's going on? You look like you've seen a ghost." "In a way, I have," Billy replied, running a hand through his hair. "It's about Chelsea and Adam." Jack's expression darkened at the mention of Adam's name. There was no love lost between the Abbott brothers and Victor Newman's youngest son. "What about them?" Billy hesitated for a moment, then decided to rip off the Band-Aid. "Chelsea slept with Adam." The words hung in the air like a dark cloud, and for a moment, Jack just stared at Billy, as if trying to process what he had just heard. "What did you just say?" Jack finally asked, his voice dangerously low. "You heard me, Jack," Billy said, his own anger simmering just beneath the surface. "Chelsea slept with Adam. I just found out, and I knew I had to tell you. You deserve to know the truth. Jack stood up from his desk, his face a mask of fury. How long have you known about this? Not long, Billy replied, but long enough to know that this is going to blow up in all our faces. Chelsea and Adam. They've crossed a line, and there's no coming back from this. Jack clenched his fists, the veins in his neck bulging as he tried to contain his anger. Adam never changes, does he? No matter how many chances we give him, he always finds a way to stab us in the back. And Chelsea, Billy added, shaking his head. I thought she was different. I thought she had changed, but I guess I was wrong. Jack sighed heavily, running a hand over his face. This is going to get ugly, Billy. We need to figure out how to handle this before it spirals out of control. Billy nodded in agreement. Yeah, and we need to make sure that Adam doesn't get away with this. He needs to face the consequences of his actions, once and for all. As the two brothers stood there, united in their anger and betrayal, they knew that the days ahead would be some of the most challenging they had ever faced. The truth was out, and there was no turning back now. In the world of Genoa City, where secrets were currency and trust was a rare commodity, the fallout from this revelation would be felt for a long time to come. But for Sharon, who had faced her own demons and refused to let them consume her, there was a glimmer of hope. She had stood up to Cameron, resisted the urge for revenge, and chosen to hold on to the person she had become. It was a small victory, but a victory nonetheless. And in a town where the past was always just a step behind, sometimes that was enough.